Hi, Nicole Ben-Simon here. Today I wanted to have a little word with you about vulnerability. When we are vulnerable, we allow ourselves to be soft and softened. And when we feel that we can open up to people that we trust in honesty and authenticity, it creates such a beautiful healing, both for the person who is being vulnerable and for the person who's holding space for that person. So I just think it's really important, especially with what's going on today and the great divide, people feeling a lot of distrust with each other. There's a lot of hostility going on, and I feel that there is no better time than now to practice vulnerability. And that means really being able to not be on automatic pilot when somebody says to you, "How are you feeling?" It's so natural for us to say, "Yeah, great, yeah." And it's quite a masked automatic reaction. And I guess when you feel safe doing that, it sort of becomes like a reaction that you just naturally use. But when you have more insight and when you have more awareness, then you could actually use that time catching up with a friend to be honest and to admit that perhaps you're lonely, or perhaps you're sad, or perhaps you're a little frightened, or you're feeling a little insecure because the people that you once got along with perhaps are challenging you now because they've got different points of view to what you have, or perhaps you feel bullied into agreeing into something, or agreeing with something that you don't authentically agree with. I mean, there could be so many reasons why your heart is not feeling peaceful. And this is really the time where we can intuitively feel who we can be vulnerable with and be vulnerable. It's quite a scary thing for a lot of people because they feel that they have to mask themselves and pretend that everything's always great. And I know a lot of people who, who do feel comfortable to talk to me about what's really happening for them. And I feel honored. I actually feel honored when friends say to me, "Look, I'd like to confide in you because I trust you." And what a beautiful thing to be that person for someone else, to be able to hold that space and to be able to have no judgment. There have been so many instances where I know my friends have shared difficult things with me, and just as they would say whatever it is that they were saying, they were just waiting for my reaction, and there wasn't a reaction. There was just pure love, and there was no judgment, and there was just pure love. And being able to hold space for someone to speak their truth where they feel safe and they feel held and they feel that they can be vulnerable is such a beautiful way to open your heart and to show compassion and empathy to someone. And in return, you will start creating these beautiful, open, authentic relationships based on truth and based on emotions. And you will be able to heal through things, because sometimes we actually need to acknowledge what things are holding us back, or what things that we are perceiving through a lens that's not, perhaps not clear. When we talk through it, it's actually our body releasing it. And I have a lot of beautiful friends, and I have one close friend who's going through a very similar life journey as me. And when we catch up, we just work through so many things. We work through so many blockages with each other, and we really help each other to see the shadow parts of ourselves. So I will help her see the things that she's not looking at because she's in fear or she's in denial, and I will constructively give her that information, and she won't get all offensive because she'll know that whatever I'm saying is for her highest good, and there's no judgment there, but it's just, you know, how about you look at it from this point of view? And then she'd be like, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And so she does that for me as well. So when we catch up, it's like being at a psychotherapist's office, but without having to feel that it's a psychotherapist with me, because it's honestly a friendship where we're both on a very similar level of understanding of where we want to be and what work we're willing to do. And sometimes we tell each other things that are quite confronting and quite abrupt. We show each other patterns. Like I will, she actually a few weeks ago, she made me aware of a pattern that I was repeating, and she, you know, so when I have that awareness, then I have the ability to say, well, I don't want to continue following that pattern. And then I made some changes, and then everything shifted for me. So what I'm basically coming at is that this is a time more than ever to find the compassion in your heart, to not judge others for where they're at, for what their point of view is, and just have compassion for them and allow them to be vulnerable without you judging, without you, you know, like throwing information at them, without you giving your opinion. It's more just holding space for someone. And sometimes people just need to they just need to blurt it all out, get it all out. And sometimes they don't even need your advice. And that's happened with me and my best friend. And, you know, we understand that sometimes it's just a matter of just letting it all out and releasing it. And so just try to tap into where people are at and where you can meet them at. Because if you can be vulnerable with yourself and with your close friends, or even with strangers, you know, you can just be yourself. What you do is you actually allow them to be vulnerable as well. And there is quite a bit of healing that takes place when we take off those masks and take off those fake smiles and the fake, the fake need to be perfect, because nobody's perfect, and actually perfect is boring. So yeah, try and see where in your life you can be vulnerable with other people and allow them to be vulnerable with you. And you will find that there will be a lot of amazing breakthroughs, a lot of healings, a lot of, you know, tears as well. But, you know, that's how we shift. We don't shift by, hiding things under the rug and pretending they don't exist. That's not how we shift. We actually just repeat patterns by doing that. So by being open and vulnerable with the right people, we really can allow ourselves to really work through the things that are triggering us. We can work through the things that are blocking us, and we can actually move through a lot of things that are holding us back from being the perfect person, the perfect human being that we are. And once we release those heavy blockages, those backpacks, you know, once we release them, then we feel freer and lighter and more able to have fun and enjoy life, especially during times where there's so much uncertainty. I think this is the time to make conscious connections with people. So I hope this gives you some inspiration when you next catch up with loved ones, and I hope to see you soon.